The year was 1744. A boy was born in Frankfurt, Germany. At the age of 12, he lost parents due to chickenpox. His life wasn't easy, but eventually he made his family one of the wealthiest in the history. The Rothschilds saved many economies in the world. This family ended up marrying their own cousins to protect the family's wealth. They ruled the European economy for more than 200 years. No industry in the world was left aside as the family managed to get their hands on almost every possible field of finances. There are deeper and darker secrets yet to be exposed about the Rothschild family and how they became the richest family in history. The French Revolution brought about an expansion in the finances of the Rothschild family. The mastermind of the family and the father of 5 of the richest sons in the world, Mayer Rothschild sent his sons to Naples, Paris, Vienna, London and Frankfurt in the 1800s. This led to the creation of the first bank, Rothschild & Co., that was spread beyond the borders in Europe. With time, the Rothschild family was basically lending money and funding the governments which were biggest economies in the world. From war operations to government loans, the family was the authority of all. By accumulating bonds on whatever they did, they were able to multiply their wealth by several times throughout the 18th century. Even death could not stop Mayer from guiding his sons in all the ways they could guard their family's wealth. After having learned what their father had taught them about handling finances before his death, the Rothschild brothers were now engaged in capturing the world. Moreover, Mayer also instructed his sons to keep the inheritance patrilineal, meaning only the male members of the bloodline were entitled to the family wealth and the females were strictly prohibited from any inheritance. Mayer even demanded his sons to give birth as many sons as possible in order to expand and grow their wealth all the more and throughout the world. With this in mind, both the males and females of the family started marrying amongst each other in order to guard their wealth and keep it from going outside their own bloodline. Between 1824 and 1877, there were 36 marriages of Mayer Rothschild's male descendants. Of these, 30 married within the family. Most married first or second cousins. Though all Rothschild were successful, there was one of the brothers who stood out the most when it came to earning immense wealth. It was Mayer's third child, Nathan Mayer Rothschild. Nathan started his journey of yielding wealth by going to Manchester in England to start a business in the textile industry. He later settled in London to establish himself as a world-class banker. This led to the birth of N.M. Rothschild in 1810. To this day, the company operated under the name of N.M. Rothschild & Sons. As of 2022, they have a net revenue of €606 million, a revenue of €2.97 billion, and assets under management worth €101.6 billion. Like the other Rothschild banks, N.M. Rothschild & Sons furnished credit to the British government during times of crisis. In 1835, Nathan secured the rights to mercury mines in Spain, gaining a virtual world monopoly on the chemical element, which is critical to refining gold and silver. In 1907, United States faced financial crisis. During this crisis, there was a severe shortage of gold, which is essential for stabilizing the currency and maintaining confidence in the financial system. The U.S. government indeed turned to wealthy individual, Andrew Carnegie, for assistance. Carnegie reportedly suggested that the U.S. government seek assistance from the Rothschild family, who were renowned bankers with considerable influence in international finance at the time. The Rothschilds' intervention helped stabilize the financial markets in United States, preventing panic and further economic downturn. While Nathan was settling as a banker in London, Mayer and his eldest son Amschel grew their business in Frankfurt. Jakob settled in Paris while handling the financial growth of the family from there, while Salomon established his own businesses in Vienna and Karl in Naples. There was lots of smuggling of textiles at that time. Due to growth in the demand for loans for the warring princes, and the transfer of international payments between the British Isles and the continent by Napoleon, which further helped the Rothschild family in capturing the economy. Peace did not stop the brothers from becoming the wealthiest family in the world. The Industrial Revolution brought many changes in the economy. However, even with the growing number of competitors after peace prevailed, the family learned to adapt. From international banking dealings to eventually becoming closer to being an agent of the government securities, their finance handling and operations transformed massively. Their previous oligopolistic position was taken over by growing financial firms in England and France after the 19th century. But, a nature in their business conduct helped them stand out without quite rushing to get immense results over their competitors, with father's advice. Mayer stressed a lot about his sons conducting all the business and financial transactions jointly and never expecting excessive profits. This was also aimed at accumulating a great amount of wealth for the upcoming generations, who would not be as mentally and logically equipped to carry out their businesses as they were. With time and after the death of the Rothschild king, the sons and their differences stood out overtly. Nathan and Jakob became the most popular. Given the fact that Nathan had the presence of a rock and was rather too sarcastic for the liking of others, and Jakob was the most refined and sophisticated among all. The wealth of the family was not inherited equally, though. A sheer example of the situation being Jacob's son Alphonse from Paris being the most deserving heir to the extravagant wealth and business passed down by his father. Alphonse's son Edouard, on the other hand, was not as deserving and capable of handling the business of his forefather. Similarly, Edouard's sons Alain and Élie, again, had all the potential it took to become the heirs and the owners of one of the top-class businesses in the whole world. These heirs had both the wit and the capacity to carry the Rothschild legacy while also remaining active in international politics and finance. The 5 Rothschild brothers made sure to make their children aware of the male-dominated policy left by their father. The regulation passed from one generation to another until there were almost no more male heirs for the massive fortune. Additionally, there was war, politics, and lots of feuds between the families regarding their wealth throughout the time span of 100 years. Eventually, their bank in Naples closed down in 1863, followed by the Frankfurt branch in 1901 and the Vienna branch in 1938 due to Nazi invasion. During wartime, the Vichy government in France expropriated the Rothschilds' Bordeaux properties, and the Nazis took in arts and other objects worth millions of dollars from the Austrian bank. Many of the Rothschild properties were donated to French and British governments, universities, and similar such organizations. Only 3 Rothschild banks remained by 1970, the London and Paris branches and a Swiss bank, which were all founded by Edmond Adolphe de Rothschild. President François Mitterrand's socialist government thought of nationalizing the Paris branch, which led to a blow in the finances of the family. The branch was later named Compagnie Européenne de Banque. Baron David Jean-James de Rothschild, a cousin of Edmond, came to Paris in the 1940s. Despite being the wittiest heir alive, Adolphe had to collaborate with his cousin to keep the finances growing and save the family name. This led to the creation of Rothschild and Cie Bank. David later became the chairperson of the combined venture of the British and French banks in 2003. In 2008, a shareholder of Paris Orléans from France converted all the holdings under the family name into a single company after 2 centuries after the beginning of the Rothschild family history. In this picture, Jacob Rothschild is with Queen Elizabeth sharing a long-standing relationship. This picture symbolizes the power of Rothschild family. Today, the Rothschild family holds successful stakes in popular business ventures like Mitsubishi, Air Products and Chemicals, Glencore, Duke Energy, Alliant Energy, Fortis, and First Energy. The wealth of the family has been distributed among the heirs. The family holds the authority of many industries under their name, including mining, real estate, financial services, charitable work, and energy. The family also owns more than a dozen of wineries throughout the world. While the family tends to keep a low profile, there have been occasional controversies and conspiracy theories surrounding their wealth and influence. The Rothschilds may not always be in the limelight, but they continue to wield considerable influence behind the scenes, especially in high finance and global. And it would not be wrong to say that after centuries of financial booms and busts, the family's businesses have finally stood by their motto.